Beautiful people, welcome to Power and Purpose. Subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Today we are taking a different approach. We are holding the first interview on Power and Purpose. This channel is to inspire each other through the Word of God and to motivate, so that we all know that we have been created for a purpose. And so today, I'm interviewing a very special guest. He is a medical doctor by profession. He is a father. He is a God-fearing man, a man whose heart is after God. Very gentle and humble. He has other hobbies or traits, I may say, but I'm going to allow him to do that introduction, and as I ask questions you will get to know who this special guest is. And so join me in welcoming my brother, my son, my friend, my church member, Dr. Adae Opoku. Doctor, welcome to Power and Purpose. It's such a privilege to have you on board today. I would like you to introduce yourself to us. So if you don't mind, can you please share with us? Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your family, your place of birth, educational background, profession, where your parents are from, and where you're from. All the goodies, whatever comes to mind. Can you please introduce yourself to us and to the viewers?
Thank you very much. I think you said most of the introduction, but of course I'm from Ghana. I was born in Ghana, and I came here in the early 2000s. And so I've been in the U.S. since my teenage years, and my parents are here in the U.S. with me. They in Delaware, and I have two brothers also here with me in the US. Also, I guess I went to university here in the Delaware, and then went on to medical school, and also went to do my residency, and now I'm working as a physician.
Do you have any kids? Are you married?
Yes, I'm married for several years now, and I have two children.
It's amazing. You stated that you have two brothers and your parents who live here. Are any family members in the medical profession, or you are the only one who chose to be in that field?
My middle brother is also a medical doctor, and the oldest is a biomedical engineer. My mom was a nurse, now retired.
That's amazing. So you seem to have a lot of the medical professionals in your family. Wonderful. Let's get to the questions, doctor. So if you wouldn't mind, why did you choose to become a medical doctor?
So I have always loved the sciences since I was very young, and also I'm a people's person. So it was more like, what was the best way to marry my interest in science with me being a people's person? And medicine seemed to be the one where I could marry the two. And so when I went to college, I started doing all the sciences. Around my junior year, I figured that if there is any job in the sciences, I love research, by the way, but I didn't want to sit in the lab. But if there was any particular thing that has to do with science that could help me also with interacting with people, medicine was the place to go. So that's how I ended up doing medicine. And I have been, I think I made the right decision since.
Wow. So based on what you just said, you're a people person, you love people. So then that literally answers my next question, because I was going to ask you, do you love your job?
I definitely love my job, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it. But it feels good to that every single time I go to work, I get to help people. I get to interact with people, listen to their problems, and try to fix it. That brings me happiness. So I'm very happy with my job, and I think the science aspect of it, or the medicine aspect of it, that's just knowledge. The interaction with people is where really the joy is. And if you listen or you hear, they say medicine is a practice. Practice, because it's not just the knowledge, you have to be able to apply it. And so if you don't know how, I mean, patients can pick it up easily. That you may even be knowledgeable, and they will say that this doctor is horrible, and that could be just because of your interactions with them. So my social skills allows me to do what I do and do it at best, and I'm happy with it.
You stated that if you didn't like your job, you wouldn't be doing it. But there are people in their jobs who do not love it. And that's why power and purpose becomes relevant. And so you stated that you love your job, and that's a good thing. If you love your job, that makes it even more easier to be in it. So tell us, what would you like to change about your job? If you were given the opportunity to change anything about your job, what would it have been?
Well, sometimes in my line of work, you try your best to say save a situation or help a person. And one thing that, as a physician or as a person in general, one always has to recognize is that there are limits to everything. And even though we are physicians, we have the knowledge, there are certain things that are always above us. So if there was one thing I could change about my job, probably be able to allow myself to think that I cannot save everyone and I cannot always satisfy everyone. Sometimes we beat ourselves a lot if we are not able to do that. And I think if there was one thing I would change about my job, that would be that. Just to understand that some things are okay and I'm limited in what I can do.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. My next question is, do you see the career path that you have chosen as a calling or a purpose, or is it just a job? I think I know what the answer is, but it would be best for you to answer it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's certainly a calling, and it also has a purpose at the same time. There hasn't been a day yet, besides the normal human things where maybe you are tired the night before and you wake up very tired and you wish you would sit home, but that's just the body telling you need to rest. But there hasn't been a day yet that I have told myself that I don't want to go to this place, I don't want to see patients. I'm actually always eager to go. So I think it's a calling, and it serves the purpose which I had talked about before, being able to help people live a healthy life. I think that serves a purpose to mankind, and it serves a purpose to me. I'm fulfilling my calling, and so it's a two-way sword. It serves both for the patient, what I do for them, and also myself.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much. So I'm not going to ask that question. We're going to skip. So the next question is, have you regretted choosing the path in becoming a medical doctor?
I don't have any regrets at all. And I don't think there's going to be a time that I may regret this. This career has been very fulfilling for me personally, and also the patients that I serve. And if I was to do it all over again, I will probably choose the same path. It gives me joy, and I think I bring the same to my patients as well. So I don't think that I regret it. I will choose it again.
Amazing. Thank you so much. The next question is, what advice would you give to the young generation when it comes to choosing a career?
I would say when it comes to choosing a career, one has to do what interests them, because you don't want to choose something that you will drag your feet going into every day or most of the week. So the interest is first, and then secondly, what you are doing should be touching lives. I know some people are guided by other people, and then sometimes they do what they are not interested in, which the whole job becomes a chore for them. So I think interest is very important. Be interested in it and be willing to touch lives. Touching lives is very important, and I think that if I was to rank it besides interest, touching life should be number one. And it doesn't matter what you are doing. It could be entertainment, you could be a teacher. My dad was a teacher and touched many lives. I'll plug in one thing here. My dad recently actually sent me a text message from one of the famous musicians in Ghana that he taught while in primary school, and this person basically was thanking him for encouraging him to do what he loved best. So that was a life touch there, and I think that it's very important. It's very, very important to be able to touch lives. And also there has to be the reality aspect of it. You need to be able to take care of your family and yourself. So if your career path is based on interest alone, it may not work too well, I should say. So while you have to somehow combine the interest with touching lives and also the reality of things. So do what interests you. That's number one. And then make sure you touch lives.
Thank you so much. The next question is, would you like any of your children to follow in your footsteps by becoming a medical doctor, or maybe in your mom's footsteps by becoming a nurse?
Certainly, based on my last answer, it shouldn't be, it should be an easy choice. I will make sure that my children do what they are interested in, because at the end of the day, they are going to live their lives in the future. I wouldn't be living it for them. But it becomes easy when you get some guidance from your parents, and it's even easier if what you are interested in is what your parents did. So while I would not push them to do what I did, I'll be okay with them doing what I did, just because I can guide them better. But I'll support them in whatever they want to do. At the end of the day, it's their life.
Great to know. Before I ask you for your final thoughts, I know also that you have a passion. Besides being a medical doctor, I know you love to work on computers. Can you tell us a little bit how this started and why your interest in computers? And sometimes I wonder how you are able to manage both so well. A great medical doctor and a great computer skills person. How did this come about?
Interesting question. I have always loved computers, not just computers, but technology in general. And that's just because when I first came to this country, I had a very good friend, which I remember vividly, that whenever I went to his house, we took apart computers, we took apart video games. So that's where my interest developed. And since then, I'm always out there looking at what is new in technology, trying to put my hands on it and doing them. And as you know, with the advent of social media, now I can go online on YouTube, read something, and then decide to replicate it. Or if there's something I want to do, I can always look it up and decide to work on it. So it's a passion. Maybe if I was in the medicine, I probably would have done that. But I love it. I love it. Who knows? I could be a videographer, or a producer or CEO of some big tech company if I didn't do medicine. But yeah, it's my second passion.
You are gifted. That's all I'll say. You're gifted, you're intelligent, you are blessed because you have all these special skills, and I think it's all God's gift to you to help. Your final thoughts, doctor. Your final thoughts.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting me onto your show and me being the first one for that matter. I think what you're doing is very important. I think, as I said earlier, being on earth is about touching lives. So what you're doing is touching a lot of lives. It's very inspirational. It's very encouraging. And I hope that today I've been able to speak to that. I hope that those that watch will actually learn something from my little experience on this earth, and also use some of what they get to impact other lives. So thanks for having me. But I want to say that in this life, do what makes you happy. Not only that, but also make sure that you touch a life. Thank you for inviting me.
So, my viewers, thank you for joining me today. That was a wonderful interview, and you all heard my friend, my church member, my son, Dr. Adae Opoku. He said, if you want to follow a career path, look for something that interests you, something that brings you fulfillment. At the end of the day, something that satisfies you, letting you know that you've touched a life and that you've been a blessing in someone else's life. It doesn't have to always be about the money, because it is best and you become happier when you are in a job that you love doing, because you want to make a difference in the lives of others. It is that which will make you happy and not the money. It's such a privilege to have had him here to interview with me, and I know he's a very busy person, and so I appreciate his time and I appreciate his presence here. Thank you all for joining. Until I come back to you next time, always remember that your purpose is your power of influence to affect lives, to make a change, and to bring a difference in this world. Do your best and leave the rest to God. Stay blessed and stay safe. Bye.